For decades, Audi and Mercedes have traded blows on roads, in touring cars, even in Le Mans, but they've never fought head-to-head in modern Formula One. Until now. Welcome back to the DR Pulse, where we take a look at the trends, brands, marketing, sales, and business strategies that are shaping the world. Today, we're going to be breaking down Audi's entrance into Formula One, why they bought into Sauber, how they're building a brand new F1 identity, and why this move is less about horsepower and more about brand power. Stick around until the end because we're going to be revealing the brand strategy playbook that Audi is using and the branding mistakes that Mercedes is hoping that they will repeat. Audi's move into Formula One isn't random, it's strategic. Across the automotive world, combustion identity is fading, EV competition is intensifying, and premium brands need new cultural anchors. F1 offers global reach, high-tech credibility, and emotional fandom, all wrapped up in one. And Audi wants its piece of the pie. Before the acquisition, Sauber was a respected independent team with the infrastructure, but it didn't quite have the brand momentum. So Audi needed a platform and Sauber needed a powerhouse. Their match seemed like destiny. From a brand perspective, Audi gets a turnkey team and engineering campus, immediate credibility in motorsport's biggest league, and a competitive base without starting on year zero. But from a marketing perspective, Audi gets something even bigger: relevance. F1 is becoming younger, global, and culture driving, everything that luxury automotive brands need to tap into. The takeaway is that Audi is buying attention, prestige, and cultural future-proofing. And that's why the Sauber acquisition wasn't just a sporting decision, it was a brand blueprint. But why does this even matter? The 2026 Formula One season introduces the biggest regulation overhaul since the start of the hybrid era, and that timing is everything. The new power unit formula shifts the balance toward more electric power, sustainable fuels, as well as greater efficiency and parity. For the first time in more than a decade, a newcomer isn't walking into a competitive disadvantage because all 22 cars across 11 teams are starting from a partially clean slate. In branding terms, this is the marketing equivalent of a full category reset, the moment when giants can be toppled, challengers can reinvent themselves, and narratives can be built from zero. Audi entered the exact moment when the next era headlines would be written and on the same playing field as everyone else. The takeaway is that timing isn't luck. In Formula One and in branding, timing is strategy. But the timing only matters because F1 itself has transformed into something far bigger than motorsport. A decade ago, Formula One was followed by purists and petrolheads alone, but today, it's one of the most powerful storytelling platforms on Earth. A few small things changed everything. Drive to Survive introduced behind-the-scenes drama to non-fans, TikTok and Shorts turned race moments into cultural memes, the US shifted from passive observer to core market with introductions such as Austin, Miami, and Las Vegas. And finally, influencers, lifestyle brands, and celebrities turned races into events where now Formula One is a global marketing machine, a youth magnet, and a brand building platform where personality matters just as much as performance does. Teams have always had merch lines and other branding content, but it was primarily for fans to represent their favorite teams, nothing more. Now, teams act like lifestyle brands, not just racing teams, with docuseries, social content, and even lifestyle positioning. This makes Formula One teams today feel closer to celebrity labels than engineering firms. For Audi, it's entering a cultural export pipeline with a global reach, just as much as it is a racing championship. The takeaway is that Formula One today is the single strongest narrative vehicle an automotive brand can buy into. Stick around because that narrative gets even more dramatic when you add one more ingredient: a rivalry that's been brewing for over a century. To understand why Audi's 2026 entry matters, you need some historical context. Audi and Mercedes have been competing for the same cultural territory for over 100 years. This rivalry is ideological as much as it is automotive. Mercedes represents established dominance and prestige rooted in tradition throughout its decade-long empire in Formula One, whereas Audi represents innovation, challenger energy, and a brand that built its identity through tech, not through trophies. For years, Mercedes has owned the narrative battlefield through Formula One. Lewis Hamilton, turbo hybrid dominance, Netflix hero arcs, These are where Mercedes became a cultural powerhouse on top of a sporting one. Audi, meanwhile, exited Le Mans, left Formula E, and drifted without a flagship motorsport story for nearly a decade. Shocking considering that Audi still holds a commanding pedigree in World Rally Championship, a series they no longer even compete in. 2026 is their chance to reclaim that myth-making persona on Mercedes turf, during Mercedes' decline, and in front of the biggest audience that Formula One has ever had. This is a brand war disguised as a race entry. The takeaway is that motorsport isn't just Audi versus Mercedes, it's the fight for global cultural relevance. But Audi didn't build a team from scratch, they bought one. In Formula One, starting completely fresh would take a decade of infrastructure, talent pipelines, logistics, and painful early years. While Audi would not have a problem with these per se, acquiring a team gives them instant competitive advantage on the grid. Acquiring Sauber gives Audi instant heritage, as Saubers have 30 years on the grid, an existing fan base as a foundational audience for them to convert, operational continuity with staff data and supply chains, and lastly brand authority, because it says we're not newcomers, we're the new owners. Mercedes used this exact playbook when they bought Braun GP in 2010, and Audi studied that case closely. Litigation or licensing? Meaningless here, because ownership is the leverage, ownership is the advantage, and ownership is the brand power move. Acquisition not only places Audi on the grid, but it also cements them as a serious manufacturer instantly. In motorsport branding, perception is half the performance. Acquire the infrastructure, and you acquire the legitimacy. Next, how Audi plans to build a winning brand culture before it even wins races. A brand doesn't just enter Formula One with an engine, it enters with a narrative, a storyline, and a promise. Here is how they are creating their Formula One identity. Driver recruitment, which is like brand casting. Drivers are just athletes, they're brand ambassadors, storyline anchors, and emotional signals. By continuing with veteran Nico Hülkenberg and star rookie Gabriel Bortoleto, Audi gains a proven leader, which gives credibility, and a young star, which gives future brand equity. This shapes the team's entire brand field to be authoritative and modern. Power unit development, which is their brand differentiation. Audi's positioning as 2026 hybrid engine as German engineered, electrification forward, data driven, and sustainability aligned. This is a mix of engineering and brand narrative that reinforces Audi's road car messaging, progress through technology. Visual identity or brand language. The red, silver, black palette is a deliberate callback to Audi's sports heritage, and the minimal geometric design is a statement of precision German modernism. Its messaging or brand positioning is that Audi isn't claiming dominance, they're claiming intent, the brand of a methodical, relentless engineering competitor entering a chessboard long ruled by the silver arrows. The takeaway is that Audi isn't just entering Formula One, it's designing a premium performance identity that connects racetrack halo to showroom sales. But this story gets a lot more interesting when you factor in a century-old German rivalry. Audi versus Mercedes is one of the oldest battles in automotive history. Silver Arrows versus the Auto Union, 1930s Grand Prix dominance, touring car wars, and even the luxury vehicle market. And now the rivalry will return to the global racing stage. For Mercedes, this is the worst case branding scenario. A new challenger from the same homeland, armed with the legacy and ambition, entering at a moment when Mercedes is no longer untouchable. For Audi, it's perfect timing. Mercedes is transitioning between eras, fans are restless, and narratives are ripe. What better moment to resurrect an historical feud and package it as a modern brand resurgence? Audi isn't just entering the sport, it's entering the plot. The takeaway is that great rivalries aren't engineered, they are inherited. Audi is capitalizing on a story that already exists in the collective imagination. And yet, beneath all the drama is a deeper lesson about why brands fight these battles at all. Motorsport is more than just a sport, it's marketing with horsepower. Audi knows that its EV identity needs emotional reinforcement and that younger buyers need cultural touchpoints. It also understands that global expansion needs global stages, and that the luxury perception needs high-performance storytelling. Formula One offers all of that, plus global consistency, as well as massive content ecosystems. Mercedes built a decade of brand dominance from its Formula One success. Red Bull built a lifestyle empire, and Ferrari exists as much in imagination as it does in showrooms. So Audi wants the same halo, and Formula One gives brand narrative power that competitors can't replicate with ads or influencers. The takeaway is that in 2026 and beyond, Formula One is the new battlefield for premium automotive brands. The ones who win the stories win the sales. For nearly a century, Audi and Mercedes have circled each other in motorsport history. Now their rivalry becomes global once again, and on the world's biggest stage. The winner will not only be decided on the track, but also who has the better brand strategy. I'm Rob, and this is the DR Pulse. If this breakdown revved up your strategy brain, hit like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments who wins the next decade of Formula One brand power, Audi or Mercedes.